Hey, good morning. It's Brandy with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate. I'm with
Leilani.
And
James from James Gourmet Pies.
James with Gourmet Pies. So I have a little bit, I'm going to tell you how I met James first, and then I want James to tell you a story because his story is magnificent. So I met James at a vintage boutique. So anybody that knows me knows that that's where like my whole last 5 years of my life have been, right? Is at the antique and vintage shows. And it was funny because when I seen you there, I was immediately drawn to like his persona, right? Like he just radiates good. So
Awesome. That's way cool.
it is. So I don't talk to people that don't radiate that because I feel like the energy passes on, right?
Yeah.
So it was funny because like my kids are sweet lovers and I'm like, ooh, we love pumpkin pie. Sell me on why your pie is better. And then when he just got talking about his story, I was like, I'm sold. I haven't even tasted your pie and I love it already. So James, tell me a little bit about your story, first of all. A little bit about just your background and how, where you come from, those kind of things, a little bit about your family, and then we'll talk about your pies.
Awesome. Well, my grandmother is from Maryland. I was born and raised in Delaware. My father was in Florida, Panama City, Florida. So I kind of bounced back and forth between those two states. And we moved everywhere in between them, but those are the majority of my childhood. I started baking with my grandmother at an early age. That was our time together.
I love it.
Yeah. And then my stepmother made a really good pie as well.
Okay.
So I've always been around
Bakers.
great bakers, yeah.
perfect.
Amazing bakers.
Lonnie's a great baker.
Yeah, see, and I love anything.
I can.
So, yeah.
She bakes for me every day, thank goodness.
I love any
Hence my
baked
20
goods.
extra pounds this year.
It'll do it to you, and you know what? I love it. I love everything
I know.
bakery. So.
Yeah, for sure. So you grew up around bakery family. Tell me a little bit about, so I see that you're wearing your flag.
Yeah, flag, Air Force.
And your Air Force. So tell me, we as a business support our local veterans. We help a lot of veterans. Lonnie's sons are all veterans. So yeah.
Yep.
So
Proud mama.
Yeah, proud veteran family. So tell me a little bit about that.
So 2005, I was living in Panama City, Florida, right? And that is where I graduated high school at. So after I graduated high school, I talked to a lot of military members that was stationed down there at Tyndall Air Force Base. And then I wanted to come in open mechanical. I wanted to work with my hands. So I had to go through what they call a delayed enlistment. And delayed enlistment is when you're waiting for your job to come up. So you're not fully Air Force, but you're waiting to go to boot camp.
Right.
So I graduated high school, and then I decided to move back home to Philadelphia and Delaware with my mother and my family and friends. And I was due to leave in November.
Right.
Right. So I was having fun in that time frame to the point where I knew I wasn't going to leave for the military.
Right.
And my mother said, no, you're leaving for the military. Yeah, yeah, because my friends were not doing the best out there, and so I almost got caught up in a path that I wasn't supposed to go into. But my mother was there. She's always taught me to better myself and be the best person I can be. So I said, okay, Mom, I'm going in the military. That's right. That's right. That's right. I left my friends, left my family, and I went to boot camp. Boot camp was one of the toughest things I've done in life because they're trying to mold you to be who they want you to be, not who you think you are.
Right.
Right. So that has carried on with me onto entrepreneurship because I have noticed that when I'm trying to do something my way and not the way that the universe or the path is trying to take me, I'm going against the grain.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's very true. And I always say that you work hard for what you want, but you also, what's meant to be is going to be.
Definitely.
Right. So, and you kind of have to trust your gut more times than not. Like, so you work really hard, but then if it just feels wrong, like you have to listen to that as well.
Right.
So, for sure.
Definitely. So
sure.
2005, boot camp. 2006 was training for what I was going to do for the military. And then late 2006, early 2007, my first duty station coming from Florida and the Philadelphia area is Mountain Home, Idaho.
Yeah, I have family in Mountain Home, Idaho.
So you understand the culture shock from a big
Culture
city.
shock. Yes, to all these farmers.
Yes, and even coming from the East Coast to the West Coast, there's sagebrush.
Oh, it's in the middle of nowhere.
And it's in the middle of nowhere. And you know what? That's what I actually asked the military to do.
Oh,
To take me
interesting.
to the West Coast, because I've never been to the West Coast.
Right.
I've been to the South
Yeah,
and the
for
East
sure.
Coast, and even a little bit of the Midwest, but I've never been to the West Coast. So I always wanted to see what the West Coast was like. And it's beautiful. It was even in Mountain Home, Idaho.
Even in Mountain Home. Hello, family from Mountain Home that sees this.
I mean, anytime that we had a 2-3 day weekend, we would go to Boise.
Yeah, Boise's fun though.
Boise's fun.
I have family in
Boise's
Boise
fun.
as well. So
Yeah, but I had a blast in Mountain Home. And then I was stationed in Korea after that. So moving out of country was, we talk about a culture shock, right?
Yeah. You go from Mountain Home, Idaho to Korea.
To Korea, where you can't read any of the highway signs, or the cab drivers typically don't speak English.
Right.
You know, so, but it was an experience.
Right.
And I wouldn't have traded it for the world. So, after Korea, I actually am a spiritual person, so I prayed. I wanted to stay overseas, right? I wanted to go to Japan, I wanted to go to Germany.
Travel while you're over
I
there.
wanted to travel while I was over there. And the military said, nope, you're coming to Utah. So I came to Utah, and my deal was if I came back to the States, I would get out of active duty,
Right.
do reserves, and then get my degree in business administration specialized in healthcare.
Awesome.
Because I love the healthcare career field. Yeah. So I left the flight line for the military to join the medical career field.
Right.
And it was anything administrative, from paperwork to litter carrying,
Right.
carrying injured vets. And I got the chance to do that. I got the chance to, people that were clinging on to life, I got the chance to carry them
Right.
to safety. And that's something that has been the most rewarding thing I think ever I've done in life.
Lonnie's mom heart over there. She's
Oh, well, same. I mean, you don't,
could you not?
exactly.
Like, these moms are going, you're taking care of my,
my
children.
people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or my daughters.
Yeah, or your husband or your wife or
Yeah, and they're not, our age people. These are people fresh out of high school,
Have their
that
whole life ahead of them.
that has their whole life ahead of them, and they dedicated their life to this country.
Exactly.
So I knew there was no way I could let them down.
Right.
Because I know all of them probably didn't make it, But it was very humbling, and I still love it. This is my first summer that I've been out of the military since 2005.
Wow.
So,
And
yeah.
thank you for your service.
Well, I
by
thank
the way.
you. I appreciate
So,
that.
And anybody that can thank him for his service, we
Well,
appreciate
thank
that
you.
as well.
I appreciate that. I loved everything about my career.
Right.
I still might finish the 5-6 years that I have left, but right now, the one thing that was beaten to us as from day one is our core values, which is one of them is service before self.
Right.
So I figured, how can I serve as many people as possible?
I love it.
So this is the way that I do it. This is my give back.
I know.
Is sweet potato pie.
So I'm so excited for you to be able to tell about that. So like everybody has a story, right? And none of us know where it's going to head. Like, you had this in your soul,
Yeah.
but you had no idea this was your gift to the world.
No,
Like
no,
his
no.
service was a gift, but this is truly his gift and his passion to the world, right?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, and you don't know what that is, and that's the same way I talk
Right.
about my job, right? Is this like I had no idea this was my gift, you know,
Right.
to be able to give back. And as silly as that may sound to other people, it's still how I believe. Like I had no idea that psychology was not my gift, and that wasn't my gift. I mean, I think I added value, like you did with the service.
That's right.
But this is my gift.
Yeah.
So
And you have to start doing something before you stumble upon it.
Agree.
I always tell people it's usually not where you start, but where you finish at, right? And it's not always the thing that when you're starting is the thing that's the thing.
Exactly.
But it's usually the thing that's going to lead you to the thing.
Well, and you know that it's your gift when you know that you're the most happy doing it.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Like, right?
Exactly.
Like that's what I feel like is that. So, I love it, and I love your story.
Well,
and this is
you.
why, like 4 years ago, how long has it been? 2 years ago?
I think it was 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
2 years
When,
ago.
when I met him, I finally get to interview him, and I finally get to share his story with the rest of us because that's what life's about, is our story.
Yeah.
So now let's talk about your pie. Tell me what makes it different and fabulous than pumpkin pie, because that's everybody's question.
Well, there's about 50 grams of love per bite. You know, starting there. You got to feel the love first. A pie is always. Okay, so I like cakes and cupcakes and cookies and all that.
Any baked goods. Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too.
But I stress eat those.
Right.
And I still stress eat them.
Right.
You know?
Well, because it's comfort.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But a sweet potato pie is something you don't have to eat the whole thing unless it's been a really bad week.
Day.
Yeah, or a bad day. But it's something that hits you differently.
Right.
You know, like it's a different.
Yeah.
It's a different feeling. It's
It
a different. You know, it's a whole experience.
Yes, and I totally agree. And my super picky children that love baked goods, though, love this pie. So I'm excited.
So it started, I was just baking for military buddies. We had a military bake sale where everything that we sell goes back into our squadrons.
Right.
And no one was really trying the sweet potato pie. If I talk to them today, they're like, no, we loved it back then. I was like, no, I was sitting there and no one was trying it.
Nobody's eating sweet potato.
Yep, and I remember the day like it was yesterday because I called one of the higher ranking officials over and I said, why is no one really trying these pies?
Right.
And he said, well, we don't know anything about a sweet potato pie.
Right. That's what I think most people are like, well, what is it? What makes it different?
Right, and I still get that question today. Is it sweet? Is it savory? Is it a vegetable pie? Is it a meat pie?
Right.
So I'm like, well, you just try it and then you tell me what you think about it.
Right.
Is it for dessert? Is it for breakfast? Is it lunch? All the above. Yeah.
All the above.
So anyway, I started baking for them, and then finally I got one to try it, and then he started calling people over, and then he was like, well, I got to have this on my Thanksgiving. This is the Thanksgiving, the fall of 2017.
Yeah.
And his family starts calling me, and friends and everyone in the squadron, and then I'm like, wait a minute, I better make this a business, you know, with insurance.
Right.
Before something happens. Yeah. So you want to be insured.
Yeah.
Right. So I did it, and then I started doing festivals and farmers markets, whatever I could afford or had time to do.
Right.
And it just grew organically, you know. So I'm very appreciative of it, and almost everybody loves it, you know.
Everybody loves it.
So that's my way of service. Like that's my servitude, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
I know. I love it. See, like amazing human, right? You feel it. You feel it, and you know it, and now we get to. So instead of my ideas when I don't sleep, I was like, last year I did 50 pies for my clients, and I was like, I am not going back to Costco. She knows my intense. We won't say hatred, but the intense anxiety that I feel when I have to go to Costco, right? So I was like, James can do all of my clients' pies for Thanksgiving.
I appreciate that.
So I love it because then they get to try it, and then hopefully it helps just grow. So tell people how that aren't getting them this week. Tell people how that they can get them.
www.jamesgourmet.com, at James Gourmet Pies, Facebook and Instagram, and www.jamesgourmetpies@gmail.com.
Perfect. And we'll make sure that we have the link to all of his things as well. But again, if you want to try his pie, you can come up here on Monday and try some of his pie. From 10 to 6, we're going to have some samples. And then eventually, we're trying to get a cooler to where we can have the pies available here to sell. So we would be his first place in Box Elder County. So we're really super excited to help see him grow thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Did you have any other questions or?
Oh, I'm just a fan of all this stuff and pies, so this is a good thing for me.
Well, and veteran owned. Like we can't appreciate you again more for what you've done for our country. And I think right now people need the positive. So
Yes.
pie is positive, your service is positive, all of this is positive. We love for you putting back your positive energy into the world.
I also have a podcast going on.
Oh, yes,
If you
you
want
do.
any information on that, email me or I will email you the link.
Yes, that'd be great.
And it's just more positivity.
It is.
It's more in depth about my experience, what I've learned.
Right.
If I can help somebody on their journey to greatness or fulfilling what they were called to do,
Right.
then
Awesome.
I've done my duty. So.
Yes, for sure. And I would love to be a guest, so we need to get that set back.
Yes, please.
I know,
That would be
so
great.
maybe stay tuned for
Stay
part
tuned.
two.
Yes, for
Part
sure.
two, and I'll
for
go
sure.
talk on there. Like you
Definitely.
guys want to hear more from me.
We do. We definitely do. Yes.
But okay, well, thank you all for watching. Please like his page, come try his pies, and get yours ordered today. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.